Hello everyone and welcome to my video. My name is Don K. Preston. I've been studying Bible prophecy for over 50 years. I know I look young. Anyway, over the last few days, and I am filming on December the 9th, 2024. Over the last several days, the Assad regime in Syria has fallen. YouTube is ablaze. Other venues, Instagram, X, whatever, is ablaze with prophecy pundits claiming this is the fulfillment of prophecy. Specifically, we're being told that Isaiah chapter 17, in a prediction of the fall of Damascus and Syria, is being fulfilled right before our very eyes. This supposedly proves we're living in the last days. The rapture, the coming of the Lord, the great tribulation, the man of sin, all of these things are standing on the cusp of fulfillment. What does Isaiah 17 say? Well, it says, the burden against Damascus, that's in Syria, of course. Behold, Damascus will cease from being a city, and it will be a ruinous heap. The cities of Aurora are forsaken. They will be for flocks which lie down, and no one will make them afraid. The fortress also will cease from Ephraim, the kingdom from Damascus, and the remnant of Syria. They will be the glory of the children of Israel, says the Lord of hosts. Wow. That's impressive, right? And so the prophecy experts, as they are called, are saying, look, look how swiftly Damascus, and well, not Damascus properly, except in the overall view of things, but look how quickly Syria fell. I mean, it just like dominoes falling, and it's just absolutely amazing. This must be the work of God. Sounds impressive. But wait a minute. Damascus is not lying in ruins. What is absolutely amazing here, ladies and gentlemen, is how so commonly modern day prophecy pundits will go to the Old Testament. And I mean no disrespect by this, but let me say this, and I hope you won't click off. Okay? Don't leave. Listen carefully to what I'm about to share with you from the actual text of Isaiah 17, from the Bible dictionaries, from even some noted dispensationalists themselves. Here's what we can know. Now, right here, in the very prophecy that predicted the fall of Damascus and Syria, I want you to notice what it says. The fortress will cease from Ephraim, the kingdom from Damascus, and the remnant of Syria. Now watch. They who? Syria, the fortress, the kingdom of Damascus. They will be the glory of the children of Israel. How can they be the glory of Israel? Now, I don't have time to develop that. I just want you to ponder it. But here's what I do want you to realize. And by the way, before I proceed any further, on my website, donkpreston.com, I have 5 articles written by Gary DeMar, very noted commentator, in which he discusses at length the question of the destruction of Syria and Damascus, And by the way, he wrote these articles a couple of years ago when, once again, the prophecy pundits were saying, oh, look, Syria is about to fall. Do yourself a favor. Go to my website, donkpreston.com, BibleProphecy.com also. And in the search bar, just look up Isaiah chapter 17, and you'll find 5 articles there. Please do yourself a favor. Now, I'm going to give you a thumbnail sketch of what you're going to find there and in other sources as well. But point number 1 that I want to make, and this can be verified in Smith's Bible Dictionary, Encyclopedia Britannica, in a host of highly respected Bible dictionaries, encyclopedias. They all say this: the prophecy of Isaiah 17 was fulfilled at the hands of Tiglath-Pileser, the emperor of Assyria, and the destruction actually took place in 732 BC. Now, folks, these Bible dictionaries, these encyclopedias, they do not have an axe to grind to prove that Bible prophecy is being fulfilled today. All right? They all agree. Tiglath-Pileser, the emperor, king, whatever you wish to call him, ruler of Assyria, destroyed Damascus and Syria. By the way, Syria is not Assyria. Need to make that distinction. So they all agree. And by the way, archaeologists have found, all right, and I'm going to read to you from the inscriptions that they found when they were excavating in Assyria. Now remember, this inscription was written by Tiglath-Pileser, chronicling his victories. And he says, quote, I, that's Tiglath-Pileser, took 800 people together with their property, their cattle, and their sheep as spoil. I took 750 captives of the cities of Caruza and Sama, as well as 550 captives from the city of Matuna, as spoil. I destroyed 591 cities from the 16 districts of Damascus like ruins from the flood. Well, that sounds remarkably like Isaiah chapter 17. And it comes directly from Tiglath-Pileser. Not only that, when we turn in our Bibles to 2 Kings chapter 15, I thought I had that marked, all right? I don't want to do this strictly by memory. I want to read it for you so that there's no misunderstanding, all right? 2 Kings chapter 15, 27 and following. A man by the name of Pekah was the ruler in Israel. And it says, in the 52nd year of Azariah, king of Judah, Pekah, the son of Remaliah, became king over Israel and Samaria and reigned 20 years. He did evil in the sight of the Lord, and he did not depart from the sins of Jeroboam, the son of Nebat, who had made Israel to sin. Now watch. In the days of Pekah, king of Israel, Tiglath-Pileser, king of Assyria, came and took Hon, Abel-Beth, Maacah, Janoah, Kadesh, Hazar, Gilead, and Galilee, all the land of Naphtali, and he carried them captive to Assyria. Okay? So here we have Tiglath-Pileser invading the northern part of Israel and Syria, which is where Damascus was. Then in 2 Kings chapter 16, Ahaz, the son of Jotham, king of Judah, began to reign. And he walked in the way of the kings of Israel. Indeed, he made his son pass through the fire, according to the abominations of the nations whom the Lord has cast out from before the children of Israel. Well, Syria, king under Rezin, king of Syria, captured Elah for Syria and drove the men of Judah from Elah. Then the Edomites went to Elath and dwell there to this day. So Ahaz sent messengers to Tiglath-Pileser, king of Assyria, saying, I am your servant and your son. Come up and save me from the from the hand of the king of Syria and from the hand of the king of Israel who rose up against me. Verse 9. So the king of Assyria heeded him, for the king of Assyria went up against Damascus and took it and carried it captive to Kir and killed Rezin. Okay, so here we have from 2 Kings the direct testimony that the Assyrians conquered, captured, desolated Damascus and Syria. But that's not all. When we have prophecy pundits telling us, oh, look, the fall of Syria, the fall of Damascus, my goodness, this has got to be the fulfillment of Isaiah chapter 17. But as I said a few moments ago, it amazes me that prophecy pundits, they'll go to a prophecy and they do not look at the entire context. They literally cherry pick from these Old Testament, especially passages. They do this with Psalms 82 all the time, by the way. But nonetheless, Isaiah 17 is a classic example. Once again, folks, don't click off. Please, you have to hear and you have to catch the power of what I'm about to share with you directly from Isaiah chapter 17. So in verses 1 to 3, we have the prophecy of the destruction of Damascus and Syria. Oh, but wait. That's not the entirety of Isaiah 17. Starting with verse 4, what does it say? In that day, which means at the same time as the destruction of Syria and Damascus, in that day, it shall come to pass, now watch this, please pay careful attention, that the glory of Israel will wane, and the fatness of his flesh will grow lean. It shall be as when the harvesters gather the grain and reaps the heads with his arm. It shall be as he who gathers heads of grain in the valley of Rephaim. Then let me skip down to verse 9. In that day, once again, in what day? Oh, in the day in which Israel's strength wanes, in that day of the destruction of Syria, in that day, that's Israel's, he's been talking about Israel now. In that day, his strong cities will be as forsaken, or as a forsaken bow, and an uppermost branch which they left because of the children of Israel. And there will be desolation. Because you who? Israel. Because you have forsaken the Lord the God of your salvation, and have not been mindful of the rock of your stronghold. Therefore, you will plant pleasant plants and set out foreign seedlings. In the day, you will make your plant to grow, and in the morning you will make your seed to flourish, but the harvest will be a heap of ruins. Listen, folks, even Mark Hitchcock, with whom I had a formal public debate some years ago, commenting on Isaiah chapter 17, says, yes, it predicts the destruction of Damascus. Yes, it predicted the destruction of Syria. But at the same time, he also says it was fulfilled by Tiglath-Pileser. And he says, we have to understand, I am paraphrasing, we have to understand that at the same time of the fulfillment of Isaiah 17, verses 1 to 3, Israel herself would be desolated and destroyed, laid in ruins. You are aware, are you not, ladies and gentlemen? Are you listening carefully? Israel is not lying in ruins today. Did Hamas want to desolate Israel? Yeah. How'd that turn out for them? I was watching the news last night, and one noted political commentator said, Israel has totally desolated Hezbollah. Israel has desolated, for all practical purposes, Syria. She is making bombing sorties even into Damascus to hit Hezbollah assets, rockets, rocket launchers, military production facilities. But listen, ladies and gentlemen, you cannot go to Isaiah chapter 17, 1 to 3, and say, oh, look, it predicted the destruction of Damascus and Syria. We're seeing that today. That must be the fulfillment of prophecy. And ignore the fact that Isaiah also said that at the same time, in that day of the destruction of Damascus and Syria, in that day, Israel would be devastated. Israel would be destroyed. Israel would lie in ruins. And instead, we see Israel triumphant over Hamas, Hezbollah, and Syria. Ladies and gentlemen, Isaiah 17 has nothing whatsoever to do with us being in the last days. It has nothing whatsoever to do with any current fulfillment of Old Testament prophecy. All of these so-called prophecy experts, and boy, I saw one guy, he had a map and he was pointing out where is Damascus, where's Syria, blah, blah, blah. And he says, this is Isaiah 17. Not according to the inspired text of Isaiah 17. Folks, we're not in the last days. Praise God. I've written a book on this entitled The Last Days Identified. In this book, I examine every single biblical prophecy that mentions the last days in any detail whatsoever. And here's what I prove. Are you listening? Are you paying attention? Please don't click off. All right. I demonstrate that every single biblical passage that discusses the term last days in any details was discussing the last days of Old Covenant Israel. Jesus appeared under the law, Galatians chapter 4, verse 4. But Jesus appeared in the last days, Hebrews chapter 1, verse 1. That means that the last days were the period of time under the law of Moses. We're not under the law of Moses today. No one is under the law of Moses today. It means that the last days were the last days of the old covenant age of Israel, and that age ended with the destruction of Jerusalem in AD 70. Now, you may be going, oh, whoa, wait a minute. Oh, no, God gave the land of Israel to Israel forever and forever. And what about forever? I've produced a series of videos on Israel and the land promises. My book, The Last Days Identified, the land promises of Israel, or Israel and her land promises, are on my website, donkpreston.com and bibleprophecy.com. Listen, folks, you know that it's good news that we are not in the last days. Does it demand a paradigm shift? Yes, it does. However, it is liberating. It allows us to defend the truth of the Bible against all the skeptics. And it gives us freedom and joy and comfort and assurance. Thank you for watching. Listen, I produce YouTube videos about 4 or 5 days a week. It's called Morning Musings. Just go to YouTube and look up Don K. Preston Morning Musings. There's over 3,000 videos there. Do yourself a favor. Tune into those videos and discover the freedom and the liberty and the comfort of fulfilled prophecy. Thanks for joining me.